More than 60 years after the Dyatlov Pass Incident, investigators still disagree on what happened. The official cause of death, a compelling natural force, has only fueled speculation. Was it an avalanche, a secret military test, or something else entirely? Every explanation answers some questions, but creates new ones. The evidence itself is a puzzle. A tent cut open from the inside, hikers found miles from camp without proper clothing, and strange injuries with no external signs of a struggle. In this episode, we examine the leading theories using evidence, science, and documented records. The official explanation for the Dyatlov Pass deaths points to a rare slab avalanche. In 2021, Swiss researchers Johann Gaum and Alexander Puzrin published simulations showing how a delayed slab avalanche, triggered by a combination of katabatic winds and heavy snowfall, could have struck the tent hours after the hikers set up camp. The force of the slab, they argue, was enough to injure some hikers and create panic, forcing the group to cut their way out and flee into the night. This theory neatly explains the urgency of their escape and certain injuries like chest trauma and skull fractures, but major questions remain. The campsite was on a relatively gentle slope, far from typical avalanche paths. The footprints leading away were orderly, not chaotic, and crucially, the tent itself showed no significant damage from such an impact. Could a small, delayed slab really cause all this? The avalanche theory fits some pieces, but leaves others unexplained. One of the more unusual, yet scientifically plausible theories involves infrasound. This is low-frequency sound, below the range of human hearing, which can be generated by strong winds moving over specific geological formations, a phenomenon known as a Kármán vortex street. Under these rare conditions, the mountain itself could have produced intense, silent vibrations. Research has shown that exposure to infrasound can induce feelings of anxiety, dread, and even sheer panic, bypassing rational thought. Supporters of this theory believe it could explain the hikers' sudden, irrational flight from the tent, as they were driven by a terror they couldn't see or hear. It provides a reason for their bizarre behavior. However, the theory is incomplete. It cannot, by itself, account for the severe physical injuries found on several of the bodies later. While it might explain the panic, it doesn't explain the aftermath. The discovery of radiation on some of the hikers' clothing raised immediate and serious concern, pointing towards a more sinister explanation. At the height of the Cold War, the Soviet Union was conducting extensive and highly secret military testing in its most remote regions, including the Ural Mountains. This context led many to believe the group stumbled upon experimental activity or its fallout. The theory is bolstered by reports from other groups in the area who saw strange lights and orbs in the sky around the same time. This could explain the government's secrecy and the classification of the case files. However, critics point out that the radiation levels detected were relatively low and could have had innocent explanations. Furthermore, while this theory accounts for the radiation, it fails to explain the specific, brutal injuries found on the bodies, which showed no signs of a blast or external trauma. Despite the compelling circumstances, no official records have ever surfaced that directly connect military tests to the incident. Adding to the enigma, multiple witnesses reported seeing strange glowing lights in the sky on the very night of the incident. Local villagers and other hikers in the region described orange orbs that moved erratically, hovering and then shooting across the horizon. These sightings fueled intense speculation. Were they missile tests from nearby Soviet bases? Or perhaps rare atmospheric phenomena like ball lightning? Skeptics argue that such lights were common during routine military launches in the Ural corridor, and the timing could be coincidental. Supporters, however, believe the precise alignment with the hikers' disappearance is impossible to ignore. Why did the lights appear exactly when the group vanished? This unexplained celestial activity remains one of the most compelling pieces of circumstantial evidence, hinting at something far beyond a simple accident. The autopsy findings revealed one of the case's greatest paradoxes. Several hikers had endured massive internal injuries, fractured skulls, crushed chests, comparable to those from a high-impact car crash or fall from great height. Yet their external bodies showed almost no damage. No cuts, no bruises, no broken bones protruding through skin. Clothes were intact, with minimal blood. This contradiction remains one of the most difficult aspects of the Dyatlov Pass case to explain. Pathologists noted the injuries resembled those from extreme blunt force, but without the expected external trauma. No existing theory, avalanche, fight, or fall, fully accounts for this medical evidence. It suggests a force that penetrated without breaking the surface, defying forensic logic. The original investigation concluded abruptly in May 1959, citing a compelling natural force as the cause of death. This vague explanation satisfied no one. Key files from the case were sealed, heavily redacted, or remain classified to this day. Eyewitness testimonies were suppressed, and crucial evidence reportedly vanished. Was this a cover-up to hide military activity, or was it simply bureaucratic incompetence in the face of an inexplicable event? Whatever the reason, the result was the same: a wall of silence and a mountain of unanswered questions. The quiet closing of the case is, for many, as mysterious as the event itself. For over 60 years, theories have swirled around the Dyatlov Pass incident. Avalanche, military tests, infrasound panic. Each explains a piece of the puzzle, but no single theory accounts for all the facts. The avalanche doesn't explain the specific injuries. Military theories lack hard evidence. Every solution creates new questions. Perhaps the truth is not one event, but a tragic cascade where nature, psychology, and secrecy converged on that frozen mountainside. Today, hikers visit the pass, leaving tributes, but until new, definitive evidence emerges, the final answer remains where it has always been: buried in the snow, kept silent by the mountain itself. In the next episode, we examine modern scientific simulations and new evidence that continue to challenge the official story.